All right. Good morning. Yeah, I'm sending everybody a moment to join. I continue to share this link. Yeah, so far I have two people that have joined us. I'm going to be sharing the link also on the Google site as well. If you're joining us, I'm just giving everybody a moment to log on. Let's see how many people I have currently on here. And I'm also posting up a link on the website in case people went there first. Second, let's see how many people we have that have joined now. We got three. All right. Last time we were averaging about 8 people. So I'm going to give everyone else a moment. And I know that you all have been with each other in this class now for almost a month, if not more. So if you want to share the link with your friends, anybody else who you know want should be here but is not, we can definitely do that. Let me know in the comment section if you would like to set up the conference call line if you want to call in. So we can do that as well. Yeah. Okay. So for those of you that are joining us, if you'd like to use the conference call feature as well, if you'd like to ask a question as opposed to typing it in, if you'd like to do that, go ahead and in the live chat, send me a yes. If you would not like to do that, if you prefer just typing in the comments and questions, because we're going to be talking about math today, and it may not be as easy to type out as it is to ask. So I want to put that out there. If you would rather use the conference call, please type in yes. I'd rather use the conference call. If you're fine just typing in your question, then I would like you to say no. I'd rather type the questions. Please put that in the live chat. Got 5 people that have joined. Okay. Got 5 people. Okay. All right. So I'm going to give everybody. We've been live so far for about 8 minutes. I'm going to give everybody a few more minutes to log on. Yesterday we had about 8 people, and we're still getting people logging on. Um, please, and I also like you to respond while we're waiting. If you would like help with logging into work keys, I got login instructions, and I was told by CSN that we were struggling with logging into work keys. So I'm going to put that out there. Also, if you would like a copy of your results from the tape test, if you didn't receive that before, and I'd be more than happy to discuss your results, areas of strength, etc. Okay, so see somebody would like me to share. So if you'd like me to share the login instructions for work keys, just send me a message. Or if you'd like me to share the results of the tape test, go ahead and send me a message. We got 6 people. We're still waiting on a few. So I'm going to let those people log on, and I will be right back. You know, my buddy said that they can't hear her. So if you want to go downstairs, you can, or you can help me up here, wherever you want. Okay. So I'm gonna ask you to probably help me with some stuff. All right, then go downstairs. I don't want to hear argument. If you're gonna hang out, you can just hang out in the room. I just don't want you to be loud. You can hang out in the room. All right, so let's see how many people have joined us. Okay, so we have 6. Hope you guys are doing good. All right. All right. Give me one moment. Let me check on something. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. So, I see some people are responding. So, I'm going to put this out there again. If you'd like a copy of your result of the tape test, if you're confused on how to log into work keys, I can also send you a copy of how to do that, the instructions, your username, your password. And if you're struggling with that, I can reach out to CSN so they can give you that information. Something else I wanted to put out is that I don't want to take instruction time since I'm only taking this over for this last month. I don't want to use instruction time to have you guys on Aztec and work keys because I would like to take the majority of this time to use it for instruction. Because if we do 4 hours, 3 hours a day, and we're focusing on math and reading, my goal would be to get us in a position where we could get the vast majority of you guys to take the test and pass. Okay. So just be aware of that. So Aztec and word keys, Aztec should be done before class or it could be done after. And same thing, word keys could be done before class or could be done after. Any questions about that? Okay. All right. So I haven't seen anybody in the comment section saying that they wanted a copy of either one of those. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get started discussing slope intercept form. Okay. Now, what I like to do, given the fact that again we don't have that much time left, that I okay, anytime that I am giving instruction, I like to stop if there's something that does not make sense. And what I mean by that is obviously with the amount of time that we have left, I could be doing something up here and you're like, whoa, I'm not comfortable with fractions. And I can stop and we can do a lesson on that. And that's okay because given the fact that we're going to spend the entire time of instruction, it's okay if one day is almost mostly math and then another day is going to be mostly reading. Just given the number of days that we have and the amount of time that we have, that's appropriate, especially since we're doing distance learning. If there's something I didn't get a chance to cover yet in math or something I'm not going to get a chance to cover in reading, I can always send you classwork or homework that is self-correcting, meaning you're going to know whether you're right or wrong immediately. And it'll also give you videos and other tutorials so that you're not on your own. But that'll help us have a faster pace. We can cover more information so that you'll be ready to test. Because my goal is to have everybody feel confident to test at the end of this. Okay, see, two people are asking for word keys. Okay. And for the people that are asking for word keys, please send me your email. Thank you. And I'll give a second if anybody else has a question about what I just said. All right. So, okay, perfect. I'm going to send out that word keys information to the people who requested it. Bear with me a moment. I'm going to forward that. That was given to me last night. All right. So, while I am doing that, I would recommend to take out a sheet of paper just for the notes. When we're doing the practice problems, that will come out. That will actually be done on ClassKick, so I can see everybody working. And that email should be coming out to the people that just messaged me here momentarily. Ooh. Oh, send it to that person. Why did that copy twice? In the instructions, it'll tell you, but I don't believe that it does. I'm sorry. There was a question about whether there are separate logins for math, reading, and writing. Whenever I have used work keys, there is not, but that's also why I sent out the instructions in case something has changed. Because now, given the current situation with the virus, there could be a lot of changes to the program and logins and things like that. So that's why I sent in the login. If you notice that you still have trouble logging in, then let me know because I can reach out to um, our IT department, to Love, and she can then see if she can reset it or let me know how many logins you need. There. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with slope intercept form. I'm gonna push this up to the whiteboard. Okay, and again, there may be some things that, as I'm talking about, that you don't understand. Feel free to send me a message. Hey, Mr. Mata, I'm not comfortable with that. I purposely chose slope intercept form, given the fact that on the tape test we were struggling with fractions and we were struggling with algebraic equations and graphing. So this is a way to kind of hit a little bit of everything. So again, I'm purposely using this resource because I would like to make sure that I hit as much as I can in the month that we have. All right. All right. So when we're talking about slope intercept form, it's a way to graph numbers. It's not really going to apply too much in the real world unless you're using like space exploration or if you're, I don't know, the military would maybe use it to look at like the trajectory of like rockets or like projectiles. Outside of that, it's not really going to have too many regular applications for you. If you Google it, I'm sure you can find other practical applications for slope intercept form. But the first thing we need to know is the actual formula. Algebra is all about formula. So the formulas are the most important part of everything we're going to do with algebra. Okay. So I'm going to give you the formula for it right now. All right. So this is going to be the formula for slope intercept form. And if at any moment you can't see, let me know through the comments section that you can't see. Please be quiet. Okay. So this is slope intercept form. And what this is for is to help us figure out how we're going to graph. Okay. So this is each of these is going to have a part, and I'm going to give you the basic breakdown so that when you're testing, you're comfortable. This is on the y-axis where we're going to plot the number. Okay. This and some of this, as I'm going through, it's probably going to start coming back to you because all of you probably have seen this. So again, if you're like, "Oh, that looks familiar," I remember that. It's going to start coming back. So don't be surprised. All right. This is going to be rise over run. Okay. And it's a fraction. It's normally going to be a fraction. And a couple things you need to remember. So rise means going up, going up on the y axis, and the run means going to the right if we're positive on the x axis. And I'm going to show you exactly what this means if none of this sounds familiar. All right. And I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to give you guys a moment to look at this. Again, if there's any questions on what the axes are and how we graph them, if you have a question about the fractions, please ask. Okay, please ask. And again, you can send me an email if you don't want anybody else to see your question. We can use a conference call line if you prefer to ask it out loud. But things are going to get really tough right now with the economy. And people that have an education, people that have these skills are going to be the ones that are going to work. They're taught. CSN's not planning on coming back from teaching remotely until the end of summer. And the school district's pretty much not going to come back. And they're even talking about what positions within the school district are not essential. So this is not a time to be shy. This is not a time to be afraid to ask questions, okay? Because it's going to get tougher. We're talking about maybe possibly in the double digits for unemployment, the high double digits. So please ask your question. It's important that we all uh, get on the same page. Okay. So this seems foreign. All right. So I got good. So I'm getting some people saying, okay. So we're going to start off with the concept of a graph first, then. All right. Because most of you, when I was looking through your TATE test scores, you did have some knowledge of graphs. So I'm going to talk to you about what a graph is first, a coordinate plane. And then we're going to talk about what this formula means. All right. So does everybody have this written down? I'll give you a second to respond so that because this is going to be important. And some of it, although it seems like a foreign language, it is. Math is like another language in and of itself. But this is going to be a big part of the algebra portion. So we can go back and do the coordinate plane, but we still need this. So make sure that you have this written down. So I'll give you guys a moment to do that. Okay. So I'm seeing some people are commenting that it's harder to see. So I'm gonna move the camera a little closer, and I'm going to write bigger. This will be a lot easier to see because we're going to be talking about a graph. Give me a moment. Is that better? Is this easier to see now? Okay. All right. Do you? So let me know in the live chat if you need a moment to write this down. Okay. Let's see how you behave. When's your birthday? Your birthday's in August. Your birthday's 4 months away. Okay. Am I able to erase this to create the coordinate plane? Please let me know in the live chat if you've written this down. Okay. So next to rise, it does say next to the, this is where you're going to go on the y axis. Y axis. All right. I'm going to erase this and now we're going to get into the coordinate plane. Didn't see anybody else saying they needed more time. Okay. So again, with math, I'm going to let you know where this applies in the real world because sometimes that helps us conceptualize it. And there's also going to be some things, like I said before, that have very little like application for most of you, but it's going to be important for the test. So some things you just kind of have to accept it as it is, like, oh, this is this when I see it, because some of these models again have very little practical application for most people, unless you start getting into like space travel and like theoretical things that for most of you are not going to be applicable. So the first thing we're going to start off is with the coordinate plane. Okay, this is going to be huge for algebra. You're going to see a lot of questions about the coordinate plane and a lot of questions about graphing. This is going to hit a lot of things. This is going to hit formulas. This is going to hit fractions. This is going to hit graphing. We're even going to do a little bit of geometry, which is why we're starting here. All right. So there's going to be four different areas of the coordinate plane. And you're going to see questions just like this. So you're going to see a figure like this, and you're going to see a line, a vertical line that goes up and down here, and it's going to have several tick marks. This is what is known as the y-axis. Okay. If you're ever wondering why it's the y-axis, and I know some people said I didn't, I'm not writing big enough to see, so I'm going to make this bigger. The y-axis. Okay. The y-axis always goes up and down. Okay. So obviously, we're going to need to have another axis, the one that goes horizontal. These terms are going to be important for the test. All right. So this line is known as the x-axis. If you're ever confused on the two, remember the little tail in the y. All right. If you remember that the tail points down, then you remember that the y-axis goes up and down, the little tail. All right. For our Spanish speaking friends, la colita. All right. If it's going up and down, then that means that that's where the y-axis is. It's going up and it's going down. The x-axis goes horizontally from one side to the other. And again, I always ask for everybody to participate in the live chat. It lets me know that you're here, that you're paying attention, that you're focused. So don't be surprised if you're going to see me say, "Hey," in the live chat, answer this question. So, are there any questions about the y and the x axis? If there's not, then in the live chat, I want you to tell me which way the y axis goes and which way the x axis goes. I'll give you guys some time to do that. Okay. Good. Love the fact that Lillian had responded. I've only seen one person respond so far. So the question is, what direction does the y-axis go? What direction does the x-axis go? Again, this can be important for geometry, algebra. We're going to be doing a lot of graphing. Good, Danny. Again, I still haven't heard. Good. And I still haven't heard from Brandy. Still haven't heard from Coral. And again, also, while we're waiting on people to respond, please make sure you're also filling out the attendance on the website as well, so that you're getting credit for being here. Okay, good. So I like to think of this as a map, okay? Like a map of an area. So this is what is known as quadrant one. Okay. And in quadrant one, if I were to think of this as a map, these are all going to be positive numbers and these are going to be positive numbers. So if I'm building a house, this is everything that's going to be above ground, right? This is where you're going to have the drywall and baseboards and roof and everything else. So all of these numbers are going to be positive. All I'm doing is writing numbers in case you can't clearly make out what I'm writing. So everything in quadrant one is positive. So it's all positive. Okay, all positive, meaning that the x-axis is positive and the y-axis is positive, right? Both numbers would be positive numbers, okay? Notice how I wrote this in between parentheses? That's what's known as an ordered pair. Okay? If you want, again, if you want a real world example, this is where I'm going to tell the electricians and the builders to build the house. It's all going to be above ground, all above ground. Okay. And in order to do that, I need to have a certain section, right? Maybe above ground could be the roof, above ground could also be the floor of the house, right? So this ordered pair lets you know exactly where you are when we're talking about above ground. Above ground meaning all positive. Okay. That's quadrant one. So this is an ordered pair. Both numbers are positive. The way that I wrote this out is the same way they're going to ask you to plot numbers on a graph. So the official name of this, positive and positive, is quadrant one. When you're putting these numbers together inside the parentheses, they're called an ordered pair. The first number always represents the x. The second number always represents the y axis. I'll give you a moment to digest that. Let me know if you have any questions. No questions? Making sense? Because I'm going to move on. Again, please do not be shy. Good, yes. The x would be, so on the x-axis is where I would go to the number 2. And then on the y-axis is where I would go to the number 3. And where they meet up is where I would put my point. So on the x-axis, I'm going to go to the number 2. On the y-axis, I would go to the number 3. And where they link up is where I'm going to put a point. So again, x represents the number 2. Y represents the number 3. Where they meet up is where I put my point. And that's any time they're going to ask you to graph. Where's that going to come in handy? Again, that's going to come in handy with geometry. That's going to come in handy with algebra as well. You're going to get a lot of questions about graphing. You're going to get a lot of questions about graphing. Graphing, plotting, equations, the whole nine. In case I misspoke. Okay. So obviously we have other areas. So this is going to be quadrant 2. Okay. Now, we are going to have some differences here. Here, we're going to have negative numbers and positive. So I'm writing -1, -2, -3, -4, etc. Now I'm going to hit you guys with a little bit of review for negative numbers. You will see a lot of negative numbers on the test. All right? Scared me there for a second. Thought it was disconnected. Okay. Bear with me a moment. I'm going to check one thing because it was telling me it was getting closer to getting disconnected. Okay. Looks like I still got everybody here. Uh, it said that the internet for a second had an issue. So please just let me know that you're still here just in the live chat as I'm talking about quadrant two. Just say, hey, here, 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 so that I know that we're still rocking and rolling. And I'm going to continue to talk about quadrant two. Yeah. So here, the x-axis is negative, and the y-axis is positive. Okay. Again, please let me know that you're still here. It does show that I have 8 people on, but I'm not seeing anybody in the chat. Let me refresh it.